Hey there, welcome back. Alright, and yes, this question here is not from that same section of questions that you're doing questions from. And the reason I decided to do questions from another section is because eventually, if I do enough videos, I'd be doing all your homework for you. And so yes, this question is from another section, alright? And let's begin, let's take a look. What we have in front of us is a geometry question, and it's our first geometry question in this video series, right? It is. Alright, so let's take a look and read the question first. Looking at the pictures isn't as important this time. It's just as important as reading the question. So take a good look while I read the question to you. It says, if nk is equal to np, and np is equal to nq, find the degree measure of angle npk. So two things here to do. Look at the picture. Obviously it's a triangle, one big triangle with three small triangles inside of it. And then, after looking at the picture, understand the question. What they want to know is the measure of angle NPK. So let's write that a way we're familiar with. They want to know this. This is how I would tell you this. They want to know the measure of angle P. And that's how I ask you this question. It's easy to know because, P is the middle letter, and that's always the angle they're referring to. Okay? So again, NK equals NP equals NQ, and those are line segments, see? NK, NP, NQ. So what does that mean? It means they're the same as each other. That is the same as that, and this is the same as that, which means this is an isosceles triangle, and this is an isosceles triangle. Alright, that's useful information for a bit. But first, let's figure out what this one up here is, because we don't know the measure of this angle up here. We only know the measure of this angle and this angle. Angle Q and angle M. But that's enough to figure out angle N. How? Like this. 180, which is always the sum of all the interior angles inside of a triangle, minus that plus that. So let's do that. 72 plus 30. 2 plus nothing is 2. 7 plus 3 is 10. So, we do this. 180 is always the measure of the sum of the interior angles inside of a triangle. So 180 minus 102. We do 10 minus 2 is 8. We borrowed from this, so it becomes 17. And 17 take away 10 is 7. 78 degrees. This here is 78 degrees. That whole thing though, alright? You see there's a line splitting it. We're not talking about this angle 78 or that angle 78. We're talking about how that whole top angle, angle N, is 78. So now we know that. We know something about this whole triangle. M is 30, N is 78, and Q is 72. Now, if this is 72, something else inside this triangle must also be 72, because it's an isosceles. That's what this points to us, right? Like, tells us. It says NP is the same as NQ. Alright? So, if it is, 72 is somewhere else. It's either that or that. It's this one, alright? Why? Because it tells us the long sides are the ones that match. So we do 72 plus 72. And let's see. Yes, 7 plus 7, 14. We get 144. Alright, so this one's 72. And then we do 180 minus 144. And here we do, make this a 10. 10 take away 4 is 6. Make this a 17. 17 take away 14 is 3. So now we know that this top angle is 36. So this whole thing is 78, but this one angle here that belongs to this triangle on the right, the inside triangle on the right, this top angle is 36, because 36 plus 72 plus 72 gives us that 180, okay? Now we're happy, right? Now we just need to figure out this one, because what they're asking us for, again, is the measure of angle P. So let's make that really clear. This is what we want to know. That one right there. So how do we figure it out? Well, we have to know the measure of this one. And how do we know? Well, we know the whole thing was 78. And then that this little piece here is 36. So do 78 minus 36. And let's do that right here. 78 minus 36. 8 take away 6 is 2. 7 take away 3 is 4. So now we know that it's 42. Nice. Looking good, right? So if that's 42, what are these? Well, again, NK, the line segment NK, is the same length as the line segment NP. What does that mean? It means that this is also like this one. That's what this is for. That this line segment and this one are the same, which means that this triangle is just like this triangle. It's an isosceles triangle. So whatever these angles are, they're the same as each other. So let's do it here. We do 180 minus the known angle. Which one do we know? That top one, right? We subtract. 10 take away 2 is what? 8. We borrowed from this, so it becomes 17. And 17 take away 4 is 13, and that gives us 138. So these two angles combined are 138, but they're the same because they're isosceles. That's what this tells us. So we do 138. Well, we do 2x equals 138. We divide by 2. We divide by 2. And let's do it. I wonder, can you see that? Yes, you can. All right. How many 2's go in 13? 6 do. 6 times 2 is 12. Bring that down. How many 2's go in 18? 9. So now we know this is 69. And more importantly, we know that is 69 degrees. And 69 is over here, so the answer is G. Looks good, huh? Doesn't it? Now, the very best way to get this right again is for you really to study your flashcards. The more you study your flashcards and the more thinking about geometry and all its truths becomes like second nature to you, the more likely you are to get these questions right. So study your flashcards. They're really, really useful. Alright, so here's this video. This was a little bit of a hard question. We're almost on 8 minutes. What I want you to do is restart this video, pause it whenever you get stuck, if ever you got stuck. It's a lot of calculations, but it's okay. It's pretty straightforward. Like all kinds of math, geometry is a kind of math where you start from something that you know, and from there you get to something that you don't know. So always work with what you're familiar. The more you're familiar with things, then the better, because the more you know in the beginning, the easier it'll be to find out what's unknown in the end. So that sums up this video, and until next time.